I'm Kevin Valadares, faculty member at the University of Southern Indiana. Thanks for joining early this afternoon for this very short webinar on overview of the changes to Indiana's Advanced Directive Law. We're going to be done here in a short amount of time, but I will tell you this is the first of a number of these short webinars on the changes. Not that there are more changes, but we're going to do this. A team of us is going to do this throughout the calendar year, a number of different times. This webinar is being recorded. I'll make sure that everyone gets the YouTube recording of this as well. And feel free to share it, but just so you know, and please share that this will be done a number of times throughout the year. Okay. So I did share this with my two dogs, Max and Joe, earlier today. They both did not wake up. So hopefully, it won't be too boring for all of you, but we'll just keep going here. So, okay. So I want to start off with a few general things. I'm going to share some other documents as well, but I think all of you certainly on this webinar understand the importance of advanced care planning and advanced directives. And it's really a process. We like to say that the gold standard is to have the advanced care planning conversation, short or long. Ending up with some sort of document advanced directive is really an important piece to that, but one should really follow the other. So it's important for adults, it involves reflection, but it really should be formalized through an advanced directive. And the image on your right is something that was published a few years ago, just about steps to that. It could involve any type of advanced directive, but we're going to focus on the changes to the Indiana documents that went into effect actually last year. So the changes in a nutshell, and there's a handout that I'll point you to that summarizes this as well. The changes went into effect last year, July 1st, 2021. Actually, there were 2 years of legislative sessions where the first group of changes were proposed, but it didn't really pass through the Senate. In 2021, it was a Senate bill that was introduced and it passed unanimously through the Senate, the House, and then was signed into law, which is wonderful. So the changes have already gone into effect, but beginning January 1st, 2023, everyone must follow the new law, and all advanced directives that have been completed before January 1st, 2023, under any of the old laws, even 3 years ago, will remain valid as well. And they don't need to be updated unless, of course, the person, the patient, or a healthcare representative would like to update them. So that's everyone. That's essentially the nutshell of the basic dates of the changes. Okay, let's keep going here. Why were these changes needed? So there were 3 sets of statutes passed in the last 30 years, and all related to advanced directives. And they really started to conflict with each other. They were vague. And those statutes, legal statutes, had to really be cleaned up. They were outdated in a lot of ways, especially the living will information. It was either or. It was framed as an option of I want everything or I don't want. There wasn't any room for compromise. And so that was confusing to a lot of individuals. In the state of Indiana, the term healthcare representative is used. Some states use proxies, some states use agent, but that also conflicted with the notion of, is a healthcare representative the same thing as a durable power of attorney for healthcare? The answer is yes, but the changes to the law clarified that. one of the benefits of COVID, and I'm not going to say that, um, taken lightly, was it it made it real that witnessing an advance directive became almost impossible for individuals, especially those individuals who had an advance directive completed while they were hospitalized, just because of the COVID restrictions. And because of all those things, and especially the fact that the statutes hadn't been changed in, over almost 30 years, Indiana was out of step with the rest of the country. It was out of step in terms of other states and in with other tools. I think many of you are familiar with the Five Wishes document, originated out of Florida. Um, and so, but Indiana was one of the handful of states where the five wishes weren't valid. The new changes to the law uh, changes that. And so now five wishes can be used in the state of Indiana. So let's keep going. All right, folks, I'm trying to move through certain things here. Okay, so basically the changes are about flexibility, very flexible in terms of what can be done. Many more things can be done. And also in terms of the direction that we're going, so a lot more flexibility. There's no required language that need to be included. And because of that, there is no longer an official or mandatory state form. So some of you might have realized that if you go to the State of Indiana Advanced Directive portal, we'll go to that in a second, you'll notice that you're not going to be able to find the living will document or the healthcare representative document. So that has been removed because of this change. So there is not going to be a mandatory set of state forms for living will or for healthcare representative. Hasn't changed anything with the post or an out of hospital do not resuscitate order, but the living will and HCR are gone. So the organization that I'm a part of here, the Indiana Patient Preferences Coalition, Susan Hickman from Indiana University leads that. We are in the process of finalizing a suggestive advance directive, which I'll share with you. We had a meeting yesterday and been meeting throughout the year to really suggest something simple for individuals and organizations to use. But do know that the flexibility of the law allows for any document to be used. Now, of course, we know that advance directives are voluntary, and so there isn't a need. Everyone on this webinar is, I guess, pro advance directive. So, but do know that documents like Prepare for Your Care, which by the way is on the State of Indiana's advance directive portal, Five Wishes, your organization's document can be used. There are just really a couple of provisions, and those provisions are signing requirements. So I'm going to talk about the signing requirements. I know that there might be some questions that you have. Please put them in the chat. Mary is sort of monitoring that, and as we sort of move through this, we'll absolutely answer questions in the chat. So really, the only requirements that must be on a State of Indiana advance directive, and when I talk about that, think about the old living will form and the healthcare representative form, are the signatures. Signature of the patient. The patient could also direct someone else to sign in their presence if they're unable to sign. And two witnesses or a notary. So two witnesses now or a notary, either one is fine. Okay, I think did my screen just go off here? Holy moly, this is embarrassing. Okay, hold on, let me see. I hope you're able to still see this. nothing like a chat, nothing like a webinar to destroy this. Hopefully someone can let me know in the chat if we could just see your desktop. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay. Now we see the PowerPoint. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm just going to stay right here so I don't blow up anything again. And so a signature of two adults, witnesses, or a notary. Now, the idea behind a witness or a notary is not, again, to validate the individual's wishes, is to simply validate that the person is that person. And so if I have a couple witnesses, they're validating that I'm Kevin Valadares, and that's what the notary validates as well, not so much what's in the content of the advance directive. However, there are two additional options as well. An electronic signature is also valid. And so if a document is emailed to to different individuals. Let's say a patient is in one location, a witness is in the other. An electronic signature is possible, but also a remote signing option as well. So just think about, again, the COVID example and an individual who is unfortunately hospitalized. And but their witness, so they're hospitalized, witnesses are at home. They can actually sign different documents and then within a specific amount of time combine those documents together as well. And so it allows for a lot more flexibility. It can also be done on the phone that way. I think most of the advance directives are signed in the presence of the individual with two adults or a notary. So that is really the signing requirements. I'm going to actually stop this PowerPoint, but again, the recording and the PowerPoint will be shared with everyone. What I'd like to do is share just a few other documents here that I have somewhere on my screen. Let me bring those up. Okay. So I'm going to bring up the Prepare for Your Care document that I think many of you are aware of. This is the Indiana Advanced Healthcare Directive, and I'm slowly going down to, this is a 16-page document, so it's a pretty comprehensive advance directive. Part 3 of the advance directive is the signature authority information, and it's already been updated to include two individuals, adults, or a notary as well. A lot of explanation about the witnesses. Your witnesses cannot be your healthcare representatives. They can't help you sign your name on the form, and they can't both be related to you as well. So one can be related to you, but the other should be somebody else. Now, just to point out, the rationale for two witnesses and notary, this is in line with many bordering states, in fact, many states in the country that require to an advance directive, two witnesses and a notary. And so Indiana had an exception to that. That was part of the old statute. And there was conflicts, especially as we think about our bordering states, and about 4 or 5 bordering states as well. So that is one bit of information. I'm going to see if I can share one other document here, and then certainly answer any questions that come up in the chat. This document that I am sharing with you is the sample form that the Indiana Patient Preferences Coalition is in the process of drafting. It is not completed yet. And again, will be an example. It will be up on the state of Indiana's website as an example for individuals to use, for healthcare organizations to use. A couple things about this document as I'm sharing. This is the Word document. It's 2 pages front and back. So the idea is to keep it short. As I said, the Prepare for Your Care document is about 16 pages long. Probably the most important part of Prepare is the process of advanced care planning, going through it. 5 Wishes is not as long. It's an excellent document. It can be used as well in Indiana. It has the requirement of a patient signature, 2 witnesses, or a notary. You'll also notice in this sample document, there is room for 2 healthcare representatives, say a primary individual and a backup person. That's also consistent with other states. It's an important thing, certainly for individuals to think about, to choose one individual and a backup if that first individual is unwilling or unable to be my healthcare representative. And then it has phone numbers as well. There's an optional section for preferences, a statement of preferences again, which is helpful, but then you can see that there's a section for 2 adult witnesses and a notary. And of course, the declarant, the individual who is signing this, the patient as well. And so this is a sample document. I would say in the next month, this will be available on the state of Indiana's website, again, to use. And so let me stop sharing that. And I think that might have been the only thing I was interested in sharing as well. Yeah, so let me go back then to okay, let me go back to the PowerPoint. In a nutshell, these are really the changes to the advanced directive law. And actually, I forgot I was going to share one more thing. I'm sorry about that. And this document is a summary of what I really went through. There's a few other additions to it as well. This is on the state of Indiana website, but I'd like to send this out to all the participants in the webinar. It's just a 2-page document. Please share this. This was put together by the coalition. And it has really a summary of everything, including links to the Advanced Directive Resource Center as well. So I will send this out. You can retrieve it right now, right through the Resource Center, but I'll send it out. It has all the different, all the information related to it. So what I'd like to do is just stop sharing and see that if there's any questions in here. I know there's some comments and in here as well. I know that some of you maybe are lamenting the fact that the healthcare representative form, the old one, has been retired. I personally feel the same way. I thought it was a very valuable form. However, I do see the benefit of having some flexibility from cleaning up the language as well. I really do think it's a much greater improvement. And it adds, again, this idea of flexibility. My recommendation, and I'll offer this recommendation, and then I'll address some of the questions that are here as well, is that healthcare organizations in particular, first of all, disseminate the information, disseminate it widely about the changes. There's nothing to panic about right now. even though the law went into place July 1st, 2021, change takes time and its processes. I would potentially wait and look for the suggested advance directive that the coalition will put up. Again, it's a suggestion. If an organization would like to create their own as well with their logo on it, maybe mentioning some other things, or use an existing document like 5 Wishes, perfectly fine as well. Maybe I can address a couple changes here. Is in the Indiana post form going to change? The answer is no. There are no changes to the post form at all. This was really just the statutes affecting the living will document. Actually, the living will document, the healthcare representative document. There is one addition to the out of hospital DNR, do not resuscitate change. And that addition is that now physician's assistants and nurse practitioners can indeed sign that document. It was simply just for required a physician signature. The Indiana Department of Health has not updated that, so I'll say it again. The advanced practice registered nurses and PAs may now sign the Indiana out-of-hospital DNR order form, again, which is consistent with the post document, because advanced practice registered nurses and PAs can sign the post form as well. So the question is, we're able to use the 5 Wishes document now. That is correct. The 5 Wishes document meets the statutory changes in Indiana, and that's related to 2 witnesses and a notary. You can see that, the barrier to the 5 Wishes document is there's a cost to it, of course. And so usually an organization will incur those costs. Other documents are certainly free. Prepare is free, or a document that perhaps the organization has on its own. So I'm just going through the chat to see if there's any other I know there's some comments in here about love the ability of remote electronic signing. That is going to potentially require some workflow changes, certainly within organizations, whether it be inpatient or palliative care or outpatient as well, how that works as well. And then there's also the process of, if you have a completed advance directive, how do you get that into an electronic health record? Certainly, it is easier to do that with a short document, 2 pages, than a 16-page document. We're running into that certainly in the GWEP project as well. It's just more cumbersome, which is really, but again, the gold standard is having some sort of conversation before that or while it's being completed. I'm just going to keep going. So did you say the last Indiana healthcare representative form is not effective to use anymore? Like many of you, I have the healthcare representative form, which was last modified in 2016 on the hard drive of my computer. If it's already, if a healthcare representative form has already been completed, signed, it's still valid. However, and we know that from January 1st onwards, the new law will go into place as officially on everything. So my advice is not to use, unless it's the only document you have in front of you, and not to use the old documents, which is why it's been removed from the website. Where do we get the prepare document? You can go to prepareforyourcare.org and find it. It's also on the state of Indiana's Advanced Directive Resource Center, specifically for Indiana. You can have it for every state as well, but the Indiana Prepare Directive has been updated to reflect the law. We were able to work with the Prepare team in preparation for the changes. Going back to the healthcare, where do we get the new healthcare representative form? So that's there isn't going to be an official one with the state seal on it, which is what the last form had. Thanks, Mary, for putting the Prepare website into the chat. There isn't going to be one. The Indiana Patient Preferences Coalition is going to suggest one. It'll be up probably in about a month on the in the Advanced Directive Resource Center, but there isn't, part of the flexibility is an organization can create their own. You can use one that's already existed. All that's really needed is the signing information as well. So, because some of us like documents that already exist, and perhaps to take that and modify it, a new suggested advanced directive it'll be in a Word format, so it can be downloaded, adapted, copied, pasted as well. And that'll be up on the website, and then information will be blasted out. And as I said at the beginning of this is the first of about 3 or 4 different webinars on this. We'll be doing this throughout the year. Different host organizations throughout the state will be doing it as well. I'll be taking charge of Southern Indiana, and but we'll be doing it with skilled nursing facilities, area agency on aging, healthcare systems, physician offices, as many groups as we can get through to. So, any other comments or questions that anyone might have about this? I hope it wasn't too confusing to individuals. Again, I'm going to maybe pull up the educational sheet over here, which again, I said I will send out along with the information on the webinar. The recording, it has a very nice summary on it. Please send this out, share this within your organizations as well. And we will be to this website over here putting the sample advanced directive form on here, as I believe certainly in a Word format, but also a PDF format as well. And you can really read, if you're interested, the process of this. I will tell you that it was a unanimous passage of this, and key members of the coalition, Susan Hickman in particular, really led the charge for this, and it will hopefully be, it'll put Indiana where it should be, which is with the rest of the country, and on track to really disseminate some good information to individuals. I don't have any other, I'm like early with this, aren't I? I don't have any other things to bring up. I'll be happy to stay on if there's any other questions as well. But do know that we will be sharing the recording, the PowerPoint, this information. Please check out the information that is coming to you. I think there's some positive changes, and do share that there'll be a handful of more webinars like this down the road, folks. So I'll stay on, give you back a little bit more lunchtime or coffee time as we sort of move ahead. So thanks so much for participating, everyone. Appreciate it. But if there's any other questions, I'll hang on for a little bit more with Mary.